Hi, I'm with Offblocks, and today I'll be talking a bit about the eIDAS bridge and the work that Offblocks has been doing within the eSSIF-Labs project in facilitating and enabling interoperability on this standardized API component. So firstly, to introduce, the eIDAS bridge is a API component that seeks to bridge the European trust infrastructure established by the eIDAS regulations and the SSI ecosystem. And it does this by providing a standard interface for issuers to issue credentials with eIDAS compliant signatures, as well as for verifiers to verify those credentials. So I'm going to go a bit into, moving to the next slide, I'm going to go a bit into why interoperability is so important with this component. And the core principle there is that if I have a credential issued by an eIDAS bridge, I want to be sure that any verifier I give that to is actually able to both recognize that credential and also verify it with whatever eIDAS bridge implementation they want to use. So it increases the ubiquity and usefulness of these credentials to have interoperability and conformance. In this project, we've been working with several other companies, you can see them here, to align on what we need the bridge to do and how we want the API to look. So in terms of the results of that, of those efforts and the actual achievements that we've come across, we've defined test suites and API specifications, as well as specifications for the signature suite in terms of what the credential should look like, as well as providing examples of credentials and so on. All of this is located within the eIDAS Bridge interoperability repo, and these kind of tools really lay the groundwork for how to go about creating an implementation or integrating an implementation of the eIDAS Bridge and how to actually test conformance and interoperability. So I'm going to go into what that looks like right now. So here is the actual repo itself. We have here the API specification for what it should look like, what the structure should look like. And we also, in our own deployment, have the same console, but that actually works live with our implementation of the eIDAS bridge. So we have examples and so on and so forth. This would really be the starting place for integration, versus the spec itself would be the starting point for implementation. Beyond that, in order to test whether an API deployed like this actually conforms to the expected functionality, we have the test suite, where we have worked with our collaborators on defining a sequence of tests that we believe can test whether a particular implementation conforms to the definitions we've created. So this is a list of the tests, but it's also an automated test suite that will run those tests against live implementations. So I've actually run that test just now, and we can see the results. Here is the results of the test suite, and we have two different vendors in here who have created an implementation. And we can see the results of live issuance and verification against those API endpoints. So this is the creation of a seal. This is the verification of a seal, and we have those for all companies involved. So this really lays the groundwork for people to come in and implement and be sure that their eIDAS bridge implementation can be used with others, and to show that our bridge is actually conformant to these specs. So the last thing that I want to talk about back in my presentation is how this fits into our business case. So Offblocks is a platform, both web and mobile, that allows users to sign digital objects such as PDFs or images using a decentralized identity, or DID. And you can see the home screen for the application on the left here. So the role of the eIDAS bridge within that would be to allow issuers to issue eIDAS compliant credentials to Offblocks identities, allowing us to really strengthen the validity of that signature and provide extra information such as work status, employment status, and qualifications. So on the right you can see an example of what that credential would look like in the mobile application. So I hope this gives a general overview of the eIDAS bridge, as well as this short example of what we see the business value is of adding the bridge to our product. And thank you for listening.